follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome aboard. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. This show is brought to you by DraftKings. We're efforting Ross Tucker here on the program today. Pauly Howard is back after a day off yesterday. And we do have numbers here to go over in Week 17 of the National Football League at DraftKings. One more Thursday night game to get into. The Jets are playing at the Browns. What this game could have been if Rodgers never got hurt and how meaningful it might be. That's obviously what the schedule makers and the league office was hoping for as well. But the Browns are up to a 7.5-point favorite. Total is 35 here. Is this too many for you to lay with Cleveland at this point?
No. God, no.
Okay.
Simeon's not going to move the ball. No way. I mean, they were up 3 touchdowns against Washington and should have lost the game. So, again, Hackett continues to be a horrific play caller. And that's another one, too. I mean, why are you running gadget stuff and you're going shotgun backed up in your own territory? Just run the ball to Breece Hall. And you're backed up and you're going shotgun and Simeon fumbles. They're in the red zone. He throws an interception. It's almost a pick six. You got Cleveland, the number 1 defense now at home in points per game allowed. Simeon's not moving the ball. No way. And if you want to don't do the teaser. It's the Frank B special. The money line parlay pays better if you want to take Dallas and Cleveland as opposed to teasing them down. But it's going to be for everyone to see now tomorrow. And this Stefanski is the favorite at William Hill, Coach of the Year. He's $1.10.
They moved him that low, huh?
And Flacco's now 4-1 for comeback player of the year. So they win, they're in, and still it takes a miracle, but they can still win the division.
So I'm looking at DraftKings right now. Stefanski's plus 185 there. He's a little bit behind Dan Campbell. You know who I think is sneaky right now at 20-1? Sean McVay.
Done a good job.
They're 20-1. If they win out, they're going to have, 9 wins?
Yep.
And it's been Stafford's playing some of the best ball of his life right now. And I'll say this again.
It's hard. I know it's hard, though. But, I mean, will the Colts and or Texans make the playoffs? I mean, if Steichen gets them in the playoffs, if Ryans gets them in the playoffs with how bad they've been.
We went back and looked yesterday. The Rams had the 4th shortest odds to have the most losses this year. Nobody liked them.
No, everyone thought they'd be horrible.
Everybody was betting their win total
right.
under. They thought it was going to be easy money, under 6.5 wins. And here they are now, and a team that basically nobody wants to play in the playoffs.
I don't think the Jets are going to move it. Now, how about Salah? No regrets that we didn't go after Flacco. I mean, this Douglas Salah, while they butchered this and didn't try to get a quarterback and salvage the season, there was no plan B once Rodgers got hurt. I mean, I know Flacco struggled when he was in there last year, but how he's lighting it up, what Brissett is doing.
Brissett and Rivera, I noticed yesterday, would not name a starting quarterback. Surprise, surprise out of that guy. It's got to be Brissett the final 2 games. It absolutely must be.
Sam Howell is awful.
Well, he's good and bad. He's the new Jameis Winston. There's a lot of bad. There is some good to that guy, but the offensive line also stinks. I think we have Ross Tucker now on the program. Ross, thanks for the time today. Happy holidays. I think you heard some of that conversation there. Who would you give Coach of the Year to today?
Stefanski. Yeah, Stefanski. Right. It's funny. I was listening to you guys. I wrote about this last week for my column for the 33rd team. I think it's Stefanski. Now, going into week 16, I thought D'Amico Ryans and Shane Steichen had really good arguments as well. And to me, it was a 3-man race. I don't personally understand the Dan Campbell stuff as much. Mm-hmm. I get it's a great story. Dan and I were teammates in Dallas, first division title in 30 years. But, I mean, I don't know. The Lions won 9 games last year.
Right.
And this year they'll probably win 12. I think this is like everybody's so excited about the Lions winning a division, the Lions actually being good, that's why Campbell would win it. But I'm much more impressed from a coaching perspective by what we've seen from Steichen, Ryans, and Stefanski. The problem is, D'Amico Ryans and Stefanski just went head-to-head, and the Browns destroyed the Texans. And you can say, well, the Texans didn't have C.J. Stroud. Yeah, guess what? The Browns are on their fourth quarterback in Joe Flacco. And then even Shane Steichen, they lost bad to the Falcons. I mean, that was a bad look. It's going to be tough for it to be someone that doesn't make the playoffs, as you guys were talking about. So that makes it tough for Steichen and DeMeco Ryan. I don't know how you vote for DeMeco Ryans after what Stefanski just did. The Browns are the first team since at least 1950 to win games with 4 different quarterbacks. The Browns have like 28% of their salary cap on IR. Their top 3 offensive tackles, their star running back, their franchise quarterback. And yet, here they are, 10 wins. They got a chance to have 12 wins. Plus, Stefanski has a standalone game tomorrow night against the Jets, likely going to win that one. They'll be talking about how great he is the whole game. That matters, too, as we get down towards the end of this thing.
All good points. How about comeback player of the year? Flacco was on the couch, and he's throwing for 300 yards every week. Damar Hamlin's minus $4 at DraftKings. Baker Mayfield's had an incredible season. Who's the comeback player of the year?
I think it's Flacco, but I think it's a really weird award. I mean, we don't really have a definition of it. I said the other day I thought it was Flacco, and Niners fans were mad. Niners fans wanted to be Mullins because he came back from elbow surgery after the NFC Championship game. So I don't even know. I mean, look, I think Baker Mayfield's kind of in the Geno Smith category from a year ago who won it. Flacco's kind of a weird one because, he only played the last 4 or 5 games or whatever it is. But I don't know. He came back from the couch, man. To me, it's really, really impressive how he's played. And I understand what Damar Hamlin came back from, and it's tremendous that he survived what happened a year ago, that he's able to come back and make an NFL team. All of that stuff is awesome. I think I saw where he's played 8 defensive snaps, guys. So what is the award about? Is the award about someone that kind of comes from nowhere to play really well? Or is it someone that overcomes something significant to just get back on the field? I really don't know. Hamlin has been such a prohibitive favorite all season, but I don't know. I think as we're getting towards the end here, more and more people are saying, well, why are we really voting for him for this award? Isn't there like some other award he could get and give comeback player of the year to someone that's performed well on the field?
Yeah, well said. Totally agree with all that, too. I think Flacco can actually pull that off. So I think I've been telling myself now for like 2 months, do not overreact to the Chiefs long-term for this year, like coming out of the AFC, maybe getting back to the Super Bowl. Mitch, do not overreact. Well, how do I not now after yet another dud performance on Christmas Day that was just maybe the biggest stink bong for that team out of the entire year, Ross?
Well, and I'm telling you guys right now, we talked about this yesterday on the Even Money Betting podcast with me and Steve Fezzik. Write this down, okay? From now on, we're fading home teams on Christmas. We're fading home teams on Christmas. And I'm telling you why. If you're home on Christmas and you're playing, your family's coming in. Your mother-in-law, your dad, whoever it is, right? And you're worried about all these other things. The Chiefs played horrible at home. The Niners got smashed at home. And the Eagles, they won, but they had some critical mistakes as well. So I think I'm going to be fading Christmas home teams from now on. As for the Chiefs, I'm stunned, guys. I mean, the way the Chiefs are playing this year is how I thought they might play last year in their first year without Tyreek Hill. I don't understand how this is happening the second year without Tyreek Hill. Mahomes very clearly doesn't trust the receivers, but it felt like he trusted them last year. It's mainly the same guys. Doesn't really trust his tackles. He's in a funk. Travis Kelce, let's just say it, right? He's not quite what he has been. He's still an awesome player, but I don't know that he is quite as dynamic or as elite as he's been in recent years, and it's hurting them. I will say I'm kind of fascinated if it gets to that point to see Patrick Mahomes actually have to play a road playoff game, but they might not even get that far. I mean, if they're the 3 seed and they have to host like a 6 seed Buffalo Bills, that might not work out all that well for the Kansas City Chiefs.
You like anything on the Week 17 card?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think I kind of like the Rams laying the 6.5. I heard what you guys were saying earlier about Sean McVay, and he's one of the guys that I think should be up there for the coach of the year. Most people right now, like most people watching this show or listening or whatever, how many guys on the Rams can they even name?
Good point.
And by the way, the guys they can name, okay, like obviously people know Stafford, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp from the Super Bowl a couple years ago. I got it. But now the only other two guys that people might be able to name, Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams, they are crazy productive. Guys, these are 5th-round picks. Yeah. I mean, think about the value McVay is providing for that organization by getting this much production, like star production, out of 5th-round picks on rookie contracts. These guys are making the minimum.
No, that's exactly right. This is why Les Snead had to hit these picks out of the park, because they traded so much draft capital to win that Super Bowl, and he's done an amazing job to get this point. How did everything go at my front page story for Christmas?
It was great, and I always appreciate you guys mentioning it. It was awesome. Thank you to everybody that got a story at myfrontpagestory.com. Best gift ever, obviously, with Valentine's Day. We'll be here before you know it. You can think about that. But, yeah, I mean, look, there's a bunch of teams now, you know, whether it's the Browns in the AFC or the Bills or the Rams. You don't want to play. We're going to have a fun playoff season, fellas, with some of these wild card teams playing well.
Totally concur. Ross, have a great New Year. Thanks for the time, as always.
All right, see you guys.
Be good.
Thank you.
More of the Week 17 numbers next.
Juice Reel, a free betting intelligence app and a tool every bettor needs. It links your betting accounts into one app, delivers in-depth analytics on your betting history, and you have access to the history of billions of bets placed by all Juice Reel users. In-depth betting analytics with billions of data points enables you to tail the winners and fade the losers. They have the AI bot who's hitting 60% through more than 100 games. Download the free app in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Juice Reel, R-E-E-L. Go get it today, Juice Reel.
More of the Week 17 slate now. The game on Saturday night, Lions at the Cowboys, Dallas at home, lane 6. Total is 53.5. We mentioned this earlier in the show. Has a chance to be, if not the highest total of the entire regular season, certainly one of them. And Pauly, Dallas at home, I mean, they've just been weird, right? Funky. They've been so much better at home this year than they've been on the road.
Yep, the scores are blowing everybody out except the Seattle game. Beat the Jets by 20, beat the Patriots by 35, beat the Rams by 23. Beat Washington by 35, beat the Eagles by 20. I bet Dallas. I also did a money line parlay with Cleveland. Detroit's defense has been horrible. They had that great performance against Tampa Bay when they won 20-6. Since then, it's been ugly. Lit up at Baltimore. Couldn't stop Herbert and the Chargers. Couldn't stop Fields in either game. Got beat on Thanksgiving. Love carved them up. So and Nick Mullins throws for 400 yards on you. So I just think a hangover celebration mode. First time in 30 years you win the division. And I think the Cowboys get right and have a comfortable double-digit win.
Remember they played last year? Was it like 24-6? Cowboys, their defense completely shut down the Lions' offense. Lions' offense better even this year than it was last year. But Cowboys were really good in that game. I bet the Cowboys in that game against the Dolphins to win it outright. Yep. Could have. They didn't, though. And I thought, good job by holding the Dolphins to 5 field goals in that game and Tua to fewer than 300 yards and 1 touchdown. But the offense didn't do enough on that game in that game on the road. So I haven't made up my mind what I'm going to do with this game yet. But 53.5, very high total, obviously. The Cardinals are playing at the Eagles. Now, this number, again, on the look ahead or the opener was 12. Bet down to 9.5, now back to 11. And Philly being the favorite here. And the total up now to 48.5, which is not surprising to me at all. I think we can get some points in this game.
Well, it should have been a comfortable win, but it wasn't. As you fumbled the kickoff to start the second half, and then you have the pick 6. What was Goddard falls down. I think it was Goddard. But when's the last time the Eagles, we were impressed with the Eagles and they played a complete game?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I mean, they won Monday night in Kansas City, but they didn't play well. And it's more of, Kansas City has all their issues, and they only allowed 17 points in that game. You were down big and came back to win Buffalo. Buffalo handed you the game. You had lost 3 in a row, and you beat the Giants, but if Tyrod Taylor starts you, maybe you lose that game.
Maybe.
The DeVito experiment might be over. So it's you have this gaudy record here, but 11-4, it doesn't look the same, and they're not right. And they're going to probably win out and get the 2 seed, but they're going to have a tough test in the first playoff game. I give Seattle or the Rams an excellent chance to beat them in that 2-7 matchup if that's going to be the matchup. Now, making the move, the defense with Patricia has been okay, but it just doesn't look right. And I haven't been impressed with the Eagles in months.
So we have 2 really big favorites on the board back to back here. The Niners are laying 13.5 against the Commanders in Washington. Total there is now up to 49. And I'm telling you that if Rivera would make the right move, like right now, this morning, and news would come out that Brissett's going to be the starter, I would bet the over right now.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Because the Niners will not be stopped in this game. The Commanders' defense is one of the worst. It is, in fact, the absolute worst in the league against the pass. Purdy's going to have a bounce back. I expect most of their skilled guys to have big games. And the Niners might have, 28 points at halftime in this game.
Yep.
So it's, I think, like first half Niners team total over, game for the over. And I just, as long as we get some good weather in the nation's capital, I don't see. And by the way, Brissett can move the ball too, probably here. Remember Kyler Murray with the Cardinals a couple of weeks ago.
I can't believe Rivera hasn't been fired. 4-11. And how they came out in that Jets game away.
That is inevitable.
Yep.
And then what happens to Eric Bieniemy?
Good question.
Does he go back to KC?
I know, yeah. That would make sense.
I mean,
they certainly miss him. And Howell has been awful here the last couple of weeks too, though. So if it is Howell, though, I see a ton of sacks and turnovers, though.
Yeah, in fact, that could actually create for the over as well, where the Niners are just set up for even easier scoring chances then. If Bieniemy does not get a head coaching job, I think Andy Reid should call him and say, "We got Nagy's gone." What Nagy did to Trubisky in Chicago, and now year one back in KC, what is happening? Is that enough evidence to say maybe the guy should dial it back a little bit and do something else? Be a quarterback's coach?
They're broken all over.
They coach a high school team?
Right. They can't even line up properly.
Again, that happened.
Yes. Again, it happened. You can't protect them. You're running those stupid trick plays inside your own 10. It is nuts to watch and see how bad Kansas City is right now.
Another huge favorite. Bills 12.5 right now at DK against the Pats. Total 40.5.
Yeah, boy.
Big number.
Now, Belichick screwed up the draft pick here. I know it's just a formality that he's going to be gone. But it was more of how bad Russell Wilson and Denver, how they were offensively too.
Yeah.
But now how things have changed. The Bills 1,600 now to make the playoffs. You got to bet 1,600 to win 100 on the Bills to make the playoffs. You got your scare, though, last week. Hopefully everyone's okay now and with getting over the flu and everyone's good to go. You can't turn the ball over. I mean, I don't care who you are. You were -3 in the turnover differential. That should have been a comfortable win. And again, we still haven't – you got a Gabe Davis sighting, but where's the rapport and the chemistry between Allen and Diggs? They're awesome right now. I mean, the team's winning games. They're going to be scary January, but I got to see more of Allen and Diggs and get on the same page.
If we get that playoff game, Bills pick them at KC. Who do you want?
Yeah, I got to take them. They beat them 3 years in a row there.
I would have a lot of faith in the Bills going there and winning that game again.
Defense is playing well too. The defense bailed them out in that Saturday game.
Yep.
Holding them to field goals and sack and stick time and time again when they needed a big play.
All right, so the Ravens on the look ahead, they were 3 in this game against Miami. That's where it opened again on Sunday, after the game on Monday night. Get my timeline straight here. Then it moved to 4 yesterday, back down to 3.5 today.
Well, the public's going to be all over the Ravens. Last thing you saw. And they take out the 49ers, no problem.
It'll be heavily
right. So
public.
I already saw Mike Florio say the Ravens are going to kill them and embarrass them. So it's because it's going to punch him in the mouth, and Miami isn't physical, and that's what his thinking is, and certainly what they did against San Francisco. But look at what the NFL has been since Week 12. Upsets, no one's safe, and it seems like a fishy line now, where it's why is this only 3.5 after they just went to San Francisco and took them apart,
Sure.
And they're going to get the 1 seed with a win.
I put it this way: I would have liked the Ravens a lot more had that not happen on Monday night. Let's say the Niners won by 10, and it wasn't pretty for the Ravens. I would love the Ravens in this game against the Dolphins as a bounce back. They have played at least two other absolute exquisite A-plus games this year. One was when they buried Detroit. The next week they went to Arizona and barely survived that game, did not cover. And then right after that, they hosted Seattle, and they killed Seattle. The next game, what happened? They lost outright to Cleveland, 33-31. They could not stop Deshaun Watson in the second half. He was 14 of 14 in that game. So just when you think, it's the NFL. It's week to week. It's you cannot just have it in your brain what happened last.
Yep.
You should know that by now. Now, that said, could they go out there and win by 2 scores? Of course. Also, don't forget, was it last year? They had a 35-14 lead against Tua going into the fourth quarter, and they gave it up?
Right. So this should have been the Sunday night game. This is so important. Winner going to get the 1 seed. Miami could still blow the division here. Bad job by the league, and then there's 10 early and 3 late, which is stupid. The 10 early should never happen.
I'm getting the splits right now from the VSiN betting splits page. 76% of the handle at DK on Baltimore, 65% of the bets.
Okay, now how about the Rams? Down to 5.5 now. Mm-hmm. I love the Rams, and they've been hot, and they've won 5 of 6. It's a different Giants team, though, with Tyrod Taylor. They should have went to Buffalo and won, and he comes in, he hits Slayton on the long touchdown. He's much better than DeVito. So now Dable doesn't know what he's going to do the rest of the way at quarterback, and it appears Tommy's 15 minutes are up, too. That's a tough game if it's going to be Tyrod Taylor. I could see him play spoiler in that game.
Well, right, you're not gonna love the Rams if it is Tyrod Taylor, right?
No way.
You're not gonna bet them. We just saw what the Giants did as a 6-point dog at home against Green Bay a couple of weeks ago, right? When they were actually playing out of their minds in that game for Tommy DeVito, and that was the design runs game where he had like 71 yards rushing, and somehow they came back to win late. But they were in it the entire time. Yeah, that's Tyrod Taylor. I don't want to lay 6 with the Rams on the road. Could be in a tricky spot here.
Yeah. Would you give up on Tommy? Would you say enough's enough?
Didn't we know that was coming?
Well, it's been ugly the last couple of weeks. Not doing anything offensively. Sacks. Not scoring. Maybe Dayball's seen enough.
Yeah. A ton of other games to get to in Week 17.
Great card, though, yes.
I got to bring this up about Antonio Pierce. Everybody's saying he's got to have the job. Does he really have to have the job? I'll point one thing out in the last month for the Raiders. That's coming up next.
Looking to bet smarter? Then VSiN has the perfect holiday gift for you. Sign up with the holiday special today. Get VSiN Pro access, everything we do through May 1st for only $79. Unlimited access to the daily best bets, the betting splits, the 24/7 video, plus every betting guide. Limited time offer. VSiN.com/subscribe. Holiday special now. VSiN.com/subscribe. Mark Davis has a tough decision to make. What would you do?
I would let the season play out. And so they are catching 3. The Raiders are at the Colts this weekend. Total is 43.5. I know everybody in the city, all the fans want him to announce Antonio Pierce as his next full-time head coach like today. They after the Chiefs win, that's what they're begging for, clamoring for it. I will remind people, they scored 0 offensive touchdowns in that game. In the Minnesota game, they lost 3-0.
Have we ever seen a 3-week stretch like this?
No, I mean...
They lost 3-0 at home in perfect conditions.
Yep.
They won 63-21. They won 20-14, didn't score an offensive touchdown, didn't complete a pass for 3 quarters.
Yeah, after the first quarter, nothing in the air. And oh, by the way, that Chargers game was a perfect storm. Herbert got hurt, and that team quit. They wanted him fired. They wanted Staley gone. So if you remove that game, they've had 0 offense for 2 full games in a row. And they had a 14-0 lead against KC. They blew that game, lost it. Okay. They also did basically nothing on offense against Miami. Mm-hmm. They scored, 1 offensive touchdown against the Jets, won that game 16-12. All I'm saying is this guy, very good so far. His players want to run through a brick wall for the guy. Every cliche you can imagine, right? Check all the boxes. They're there. But he's also pointed it out several times. I want to be tough. I want to be physical, and we're going to be a running football team. We need to run the ball. Is the NFL going to flip after this year? I know it's been lower scoring, bad quarterback play again. Are we going to go back to the 90s when it's you need an Emmitt Smith or a Barry Sanders or a Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson. I don't see that happening.
Yep.
I'm just saying, let it breathe here for a minute. Offensively, they could be challenged here and we know this, Aiden O'Connell, they're going to have to find a quarterback in the offseason.
You can't be this bad offensively with the weapons they have. So does Ben Johnson want $15 million a year? That's what the reports say. But you need an offensive guru to come in here. You have Jacobs, Adams, Mayer, Myers, and Hunter Renfrow, and you can't complete a pass for 3 quarters. You get shut out at home and lose 3-0. Now, the other thing, though, is the Bisaccia thing is in the back of his mind.
That's exactly what it is.
Because he should have got the job. And that's how bad McDaniels did. I mean, you were in the playoffs, 1 play away from beating the team that went to the Super Bowl, and then McDaniels drives the car off the cliff.
Yep. That's what he might be afraid of. If he does that for a second time and passes on the interim guy who's done a really good job so far, the fans here in this town might revolt.
Yep. This is a tough game, though. I did lay the 3 with the Colts. I'm concerned about the big celebration. You finally beat the Chiefs. Back-to-back road games, Monday night or Monday morning, short week, and the Colts look horrible. But Crosby, again, this defense is so nasty. Will Minshew get time, and will they be able to do anything? What will the Colts do from a team total standpoint? 20 points might get it done, though, as bad as the Raiders have been offensively. But the Colts have issues defensively. But this is a tough game, but I took the Colts based on the Raiders just can't figure it out offensively unless you turn it over if you're Indianapolis or Minshew.
I'll say this, too, about Crosby. Now, he's not going to win, but based on what this guy does every single week and how he's an absolute menace and what he does with the pressures, the quarterback hits, overall sacks, he should not be this high to win Defensive Player of the Year. It's because he doesn't have that name yet, like a T.J. Watt or a Micah Parsons. But Watt's as good
all over the place.
This guy's as good as any of them. Crosby.
Involved in every play, yes.
Yep. Falcons are catching 3 at Chicago. Total is 38. Falcons they did a really good job against Indy, had to have that game and won. And now the Bears they're dangerous right now.
The Bears can go over their win total. That'd be a sick beat.
Mm-hmm.
The defense has been great since the Sweat trade. Also, if they continue to win games, they'll probably bring the coaching staff back, which I think would be a mistake. It's another tough one here. But I would move on from Fields, and I would move on from the coaching staff. But it was a mixed bag last week with Fields. I can't trust Atlanta and Art Smith on the road, though. Looked much better with Heineke. Heineke should have been the starter the whole way. The Carolina loss continues to, that's going to keep them out of the playoffs, it looks like. But I could only take the Bears here. Low total.
We're not going to, it is. We're not going to get look-ahead lines to Week 18. Books won't do that because you have no idea how these teams are going to operate with the players next week. Depending on the number, there is a really good chance I'm going to absolutely love Chicago against Green Bay.
Yeah.
All things considered, the ownage of Aaron Rodgers over the years, what Jordan Love did in Week 1 against that team, and they were celebrating after the win, and they didn't run it up on them, but they scored 38 points. And then when that came out, that Rodgers texted Love after the game and said, "It's still, you still got to own this team. It's your turn to be their daddy." I think the Bears have had this game circled since the Week 1 loss, and I think they want to get that Green Bay stench away from them. This goes back 30 years. With Favre killed that team. Rodgers, same thing. Took a lot of pride in it. And so, again, based on the number of what happens next week, I think Chicago is going to be a play for me then. Titans are playing against the Texans. Houston's laying 3.5 at home. Total is 42.5.
Well, Stroud finally should be back, and they need him in the worst way with the season on the line now. So
we think
they go to Indy Week 18, and I don't know why it wasn't Davis Mills. Keenum was horrendous last week, and they got the win, but it didn't do anything against the Titans in the first matchup. So I guess you could say, hey, we won the first game on the road, and we didn't have our stud quarterback, and we're without some weapons. I don't think Schultz played in that game, if memory serves. But what's Tennessee going to do at quarterback? And it's been ugly offensively. They haven't done much since that fourth quarter against Miami. Mm-hmm. So I think Houston gets the win.
Another one. Same point spread. 2 different teams. Seahawks at home to Pittsburgh. It's an afternoon game. Seattle's laying 3.5. Total is 41.5. You know the drill. Mike Tomlin, great as a dog. This is where you typically want the guy. But after playing like that on Saturday against, that was the perfect game for the Steelers in that game against Cincinnati, and the broken coverage a couple times. Pickens' monstrous game. Is Rudolph going to play like that again?
Well, I doubt it, but certainly they're doing the right thing going with the hot hand, though. I don't know what you're watching in practice every week that you think Trubisky's better than Rudolph. So, the guy's made 11 starts, and 6 of them he's thrown for multiple touchdown passes. But it's what Geno Smith am I going to get? I mean, they won, but it was ugly, and it wasn't pretty, and they were lucky
so
they won.
To win that
they
game.
were. Right, and the touchdown pass to Metcalf was a bad throw. He did one-handed grab. So, tough place to play. It's right there for him because they closed with Arizona. But try to get a read on the Steelers. They're like the Raiders. I mean, they lose to Arizona. They lose to New England. They get beat by the Colts, can't move the ball. Couldn't move the ball against Houston and get beat. And now Rudolph comes in and looks like that against Cincinnati. Although Cincinnati has issues defensively.
Yeah, and by the way, Seattle, for what it's worth against this division, they should have won in Cincinnati. They didn't. They blew that game, lost 17-13. They got absolutely thumped at Baltimore 37-3. And the other game in that division was against... where is it at? Cleveland. They were lucky. They scored a touchdown late to win that game, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, Walker threw an interception.
Yep. So hasn't really gone very well for that team against the AFC North.
Why is Tampa only 3? Mayfield, 26 touchdowns.
I think it's a divisional game. Saints are going to have it, obviously, and they know each other pretty well.
They've won 4 in a row. I told Matt Monday, there's no way Derek Carr's winning this game. He doesn't win these type of games. They have the rest advantage, but the way Mayfield's playing and this offense is humming, and they go into Lambeau and blow them out, and that game last week was over in the second quarter against Jacksonville. They're also doing a good job defensively. So no one's talking about Bowles either. Their win total was 6.5.
That's true.
They're going to win this division, it looks like.
And they're going to have to bring him back then for sure if this happens. Right? All the talk was Saints and the Falcons here. Imagine they win a playoff game.
Yep, I put a nickel on Tampa. I think they win the game, and I got them on futures to win the division too, although the win totals were a disaster this year. Tampa, Indy, Houston, all 6.5. All over the win total.
All over, yeah.
Yep.
Bengals catching 7 at the Chiefs. Total is 44. This is down from 8. Chargers are catching 5 at Denver. That's come down. And on Sunday night, Packers between 1.5 or 2-point dogs.
Tough game. Loser leaves town. Season's over. Now it might be Hall in replacing Mullins. It's just, how do you play like this when you're a veteran? You see the glimpses. Like, I'm throwing for 300 yards. We should have beat the Bengals. We should have beat Detroit. Stop throwing interceptions. Stop turning the ball over, right? So O'Connell might just say, I've seen enough and you're making stupid rookie mistakes. I'm going to put Hall in there.
Yeah.
Because, you were moving it up and down the field the last couple of weeks, but the red zone turnovers and the 4 interceptions against Detroit. So
it's also great to have Jefferson back.
Right.
But now lost Hawkinson for the year.
Hawkinson's out for the year. I know how much you can't overcome all these injuries.
Addison
he's nicked
might
up,
not play.
But the Green Bay defense is awful.
Terrible.
They made Bryce Love look good. Bryce Young, yeah.
Yeah. He had by far his best game as a pro.
Yep.
So, and the last 3 weeks, by the way, their passing defense is trending in the exact wrong direction that you want it to go in late in the season. We'll take you inside Mitch and Pauly's Pizzeria up next. Long shot bets that we have recently placed here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Great menu as always with the NBA at DraftKings. We'll get to it coming up in 10 minutes. 1 seed, best record. The Detroit Pistons prop. Will they win 10 games? No. Plus 240. New customers get $150 instantly in bonus bet just for betting $5. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code FOLLOW. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Code FOLLOW. The crown is yours. Here we go.
Hungry for a winner? Sometimes all you need is a slice.
You make this pizza?
We swap pepperoni for parlays and give you alternate lines instead of anchovies.
I'm telling you, this pizza idea is really gonna happen.
From our kitchen to your wallet, sweat with us and throw some pizza money on it.
Double meatball, pepperoni, sausage, peppers, onions, extra mozzarella.
Welcome to Mitch and Pauly's Pizzeria.
And if you want to get in on the fun, and we'll put you on television to see your plays with the tip jar, it's open. FTM at vsin.com. Send in your plays if you want to be featured on the Pizzeria. Again, drop it in the tip jar. Email the show, FTM at vsin.com, with your play, name, and state. Had this a while ago. I thought the Clippers were going to acquire Harden in a trade. And now it looks good. They're 20. I got them 22-1 to win the title, but I added more with other pieces. Plus 550 to win the division. And I think they're tied for first with Sacramento. The Suns are a mess. They're under 500. The Warriors are having all kinds of issues, although they've been playing better as of late. Lakers have been awful since the in-season tournament that they won. The Clippers are in first place by half a game over Sacramento. So I have plus 550 to win the division. I have 22-1 to win it all. And I know they won last night, but that two-game losing streak they had, Kawhi didn't play. So this team is humming offensively, and they have been awesome going back here. And they're starting to figure out, number one was you can't play Harden and Westbrook at the same time. That was one thing that they did. And Westbrook coming off the bench, and they were led by Harden in the win last week, so I like those bets a lot.
I've piggybacked. I found a smaller number, but I have them at plus 450 to win the Pacific.
Good bet.
And I did not attack to win the NBA Finals because I don't think they could beat a team like the Celtics if that's the matchup. However, I did
West is wide open, though.
I did take 11-1
okay.
and 10-1. So basically it evens out. I have about plus 1050 to win the West.
All right, very good. Staying with that theme, too, about the West is wide open. You were hyping them up at the start of the season. Minnesota, 66-1 to win it all. Timberwolves to win it all at 66-1. Timberwolves to win the West at 25-1. Timberwolves to win the division at 575.
Oh, there you go. Now you're cooking.
Yeah, so they
you found that one right away.
They are 22-7. At DraftKings, it flipped the last couple days because Minnesota lost yesterday and Denver's had a couple wins. Denver's 22-10. OKC is 19-9. Denver is $1.05 to win the division. Minnesota's plus 150. OKC is 7-1.
They lost last night. They got their doors kicked in the second half. But OKC is very good at home on top of that.
Yep.
Yeah, I have three teams to win the West. As I said, I think last week when you were out, I'm approaching the Western Conference as I do a golf tournament. So I have the Clippers at that number. I have same number as you with the Wolves, 25-1, and I have OKC from the summertime at 60-1 to win the West.
Yep.
Those are my three teams I'm going to war with.
Yep.
I wanted to fade teams like Phoenix. I wanted to fade teams like Golden State, the Lakers, and if some team like the Nuggets get me, fine. Because they're very good and they come out of the West again, that would not be a surprise.
Right. And Minnesota's going to be a problem come playoff time. And to get the 1 seed, they were the favorites to get the 1 seed not that long ago.
Yep.
But now I mentioned plus 150. That's offered at DraftKings also. But the West wide open, and again, we could cash 2 tickets here if the T-Wolves and the Clippers both win the divisions, and the 76ers 22-1 to win the title, and 7-1 to win the East. Maury's gonna make a move, and the upgrade going from Doc Rivers to Nurse. Maxi's having a great year, good supporting cast. That was a great game on Christmas. Embiid didn't play, but they lost at Miami. That game was back and forth. So that's another one too. I added the 76ers 22-1. Yeah, I like the Bucks. This Boston team, the power ratings off the charts. I don't know what the Knicks can do. What kind of trade are you going to make? Because even if you get a big-time player, you're still not on the level of Boston, Milwaukee, and Philly's probably going to make a move as well. So, but I thought 22-1 was too high, and 7-1 to win the East was too high.
Yeah, we're on a bunch of the same teams. Philly will make a move. They have the space to do that now, and I mean could it be the Hawks? They something there with Atlanta. Could they make a move involving something with Toronto, Anunoby? Could it be Siakam? Somebody like that. I would love either one of those players to go over to Philly. I think once that team makes a move, and if it's the right guy, they're going to be ultra dangerous. I also then think the Bucks are going to have to make a move on top of it. The Celtics, I mean, they're starting 5.
Yeah.
They're maybe a little bit thin on the bench.
Ridiculous.
Their starting 5 it's better than Golden State right now.
Yeah.
When you look at the numbers and Golden State with KD.
Well, look what they blew out Sacramento. I think that was a back-to-back. Kawhi didn't play, but they torched the Clippers, and they buried the Lakers on Christmas.
Yep.
Hell of a road trip so far. And they are $1.80 at DraftKings to have the most regular season wins. Minus 180. Milwaukee's plus 450, Denver 5-1. Denver has an easy schedule, and they have the fewest amount of back-to-backs. Minnesota's 8-1 as well. And the other thing, this escalated quickly with the division numbers. It wasn't that long ago. The Bucks were only $3 to win the division. Well, that's now $1,500. Injuries to Cleveland, plenty of losses. They've piled up. And Boston's in the same range as well.
Okay. So I will point this out. If you bet Jalen Carter to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, I think that was one of my bets that I gave out on the show before the season started. He was between, depends on when you bet him, like plus 750 up to 9-1. He reached minus 20,000 recently.
Yep.
The guy played, I will point this out. It looks good right now to have that in pocket. So I'm feeling pretty decent about our chances there on Jalen Carter. However, I wanted to point this out. He played 31 snaps in the game on Sunday. When you go to Pro Football Focus, you can toggle through all defensive players who were drafted this year and get their player grades. So when you click on 20% of 1,033 is the number of snaps that they have, he is the number one graded rookie at PFF defensively. He has a player grade of 85.2, 20% of the snaps or more. When you click on 50% of the snaps or more, Jalen Carter's name cannot be found. It's because he doesn't even hit that threshold. So I would love to be able to ask voters, will you take that into consideration, that a player who was minus 20,000 to win the award doesn't even fit that criteria where he's played 50% of his team's overall defensive snaps. And oh, by the way, it's not like he has runaway numbers where it's like 12 sacks compared to, 3 for the next guy. He has 6 sacks on the year. He's not even leading rookies in terms of sacks. Other players like Pace, for example, from Minnesota, he's been phenomenal over the last month. He leads everybody in tackles as a rookie. Other players who are available, I know Witherspoon has missed a couple of games. Not Myles Garrett. Will Anderson's missed a couple of games. But if you have Carter, I don't think it's a bad idea to sprinkle some pizza money on players like those two. I would also tell you, watch out for Brian Young for the Rams. He's played 840 plus snaps on the year. Now, at Pro Football Focus, he's not graded as highly as Jalen Carter. I also don't think that voters look at player grades on PFF. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But overall, his numbers are right there with Young's now. His numbers are right there, and he's played the entire year for the Rams, and he's been a big part of that defense. There are other players like Brian Branch for the Lions. All these players I'm talking about, Young, Branch, Pace, Porter, having a really good year for the Steelers. They're 150-1. This award to me it should be far from over with, like where the market and where sportsbooks had it. I don't know where they got to that number on Jalen Carter. I think it's only because a narrative was built up over time, and it's like, oh, he's going to run away with it now. Nobody else is doing anything. I think that's not factual. I think it's an incorrect way to look at it, and I think other players like a Branch, a Love, a Pace, I think a Porter, a Witherspoon, or an Anderson, they can steal this award late from Jalen Carter.
All right.
And I would not be surprised if when they announce that guy's name, I think they're doing it at Resorts World out here in Las Vegas on February 8th. I would not be surprised if it's somebody not named Jalen Carter. And so we were in a great spot. All these guys are around, some of them are 150-1. It's not stupid to think that they can win it.
How do you feel about your Timberwolf future tickets?
No, they're absolutely real.
Yeah.
They are.
Getting the 1 seed would be huge.
Yes, it
one
would
or two.
be.
Yep.
They're deep.
Number 1 defense.
They have tons of talent across the board in all shapes and sizes. They have a superstar in Anthony Edwards.
Home court advantage is back.
And look at that. How many guys have Naz Reid, Karl Anthony Towns, and Rudy Gobert, 3 bigs like that can play in different spots? I mean, they got a little bit of everything. We'll hit the NBA and some upcoming games that we have on the card tonight. This team is 4-0 with a rest disadvantage, which is the spot that they're in tonight.